I think our UFC fight at the Roman Coliseum got a little bit juicier because Elon Musk intends on suing Mark Zuckerberg. So here's where I'm at. Recently this week, Mark Zuckerberg and Meta have released a new application that kind of extends through Instagram, which is a direct competitor with Twitter called Thread. It has a similar news feed type of situation, and it's, limited characters and similar format to tweeting. However, it has a little bit more freedom in how much video length you can post and multimedia. So it's going to take that Twitter platform and kind of take it in its own direction. And it is different in some respect, but pretty much the same thing. As a result, however, the lawyers representing Elon Musk and Twitter have sent over letters to Mark Zuckerberg directly at Meta, exclaiming that they intend on suing. Now, at first, I was very alarmed about this because it seems like we're snuffing out any inkling of competition in a market that is already very shallow of competition. Every user has Snapchat, Twitter, Facebook, all of these, because all of these social medias are different in such a respect that they don't actually compete for viewers until TikTok came around. And we'll get to TikTok, but you could see why probably a TikTok became an enemy of the state once they were the ones directly taking viewers, the first app to do so, whereas all these other apps kind of stayed in their own territory and could share the home screen of your iPhone. I want to live in a world where a Walmart has to compete with a Target, that you can't just come out and say, oh, no, you do a similar service. No, I want you to play the tricks. Who's got the light bulbs that makes it feel cleaner? Which is the one that has a little bit more of a discounted bread that, makes me come back? That is a free market. But the story doesn't seem to be so cut and dry that we just are trying to fight competition. No, it seems that there's a possibility that Meta has come in and stolen trade secrets. That is the allegation by Twitter and their attorneys, that trade secret theft through the hiring of former Twitter employees is the basis of a lawsuit. Now, sometimes lawyers threaten lawsuits but don't actually follow through, and this could be a strategical attempt at slowing down Meta, and there may be value in holding them up in litigation. However, I am curious how this is going to pan out. Did Facebook essentially poach Twitter employees to get trade secrets? Now, come on. Am I missing something here? What trade secrets are out of Twitter? You keep it to 140 characters, and it all goes on one feed. You got the main feed with everybody and the main feed with your friends. Am I missing something? Because to me, that just seems, it's not a secret. Cat's out of the bag. Now, I'm not that ignorant. I understand that there's a lot of coding and complicated, computer science that goes into this too, and maybe that's the trick of the trade. However, are we going to sit here and pretend that Facebook, the conglomerate so big that controls foreign elections and is worth quadrillions and trillions of dollars, that they don't have the capacity to drum up the employees and the science to finish whatever application platform they want to create? They're creating virtual worlds. Oculus has entered the chat. Now, in the letter, Alex Spiro, Twitter's attorney, alleges that Meta had engaged in systemic, willful, and unlawful misappropriation of Twitter's trade secrets and other intellectual property. Elon Musk tweeted today as well, competition is fine, cheating is not. The letter goes on to say how Meta hired former Twitter employees who have improperly retained Twitter documents and electronic devices, and that Meta deliberately involved these employees in the development of threads. Spiros continues, Twitter intends to strictly enforce its intellectual property rights and demands that Meta take immediate steps to stop using any Twitter trade secrets or other highly confidential information, which is a very fair position to take. Now, ironically, the Meta spokesperson Andy Stone flatly dismissed the letter, saying no one on the Threads engineering team is a former Twitter employee. That's just not a thing. Come on. If they're not a Thread employee directly, who's to say you didn't hire them to be, an Instagram Reels employee that just happens to mention a couple things to the other employee at the lunch table. Or, I don't know, he's a janitor that's cleaning in the same room. That's a pretty easy line to skirt, but that's what you hire attorneys for. Now, I so badly want to hope that Elon Musk is still out here taking on that valiant fight to stand up against censorship and fight for that free marketplace of ideas where everybody can flourish and not be under the thumb of Big Brother. However, it does feel like part of this has to do with pushing back against direct competition. Threads is popping off right now. It's having record exchange and user engagement off the app stores, and having now, I think it's, as of today, me recording it, it only has 3.9 stars, so it is tanking in the ratings. That could be because people have vendettas against Facebook, XYZ. The ratings, I mean, I don't know how biased or accurate those are, especially on the first day, but at the same time, there is something to say that there's such a huge user engagement right off the bat. I think, Kim Kardashian's almost at 2 million, and it's not even been a day followers. But again, I'm not that impressed with it because the way they combined it with Instagram, you kind of seamlessly just take a lot of your following content, profile picture, description, you kind of just take the whole thing over into Thread, and it's just, to me, it just feels like an extension of my Instagram. Now, of course, every content creator out there gets excited and jumps at the chance at finding new ways to expand their audience and get engagement outside of the avenues that they're already, taking. However, they know that you're going to jump at the opportunity. They've tossed you the carrot. And what I've come to learn through the research is this is one of the most intrusive apps on your phone in regards to mining data. So, of course, I immediately was like, hey, new app, whatever, free, extends my Instagram, which I have essentially my biggest following on, and this opens the door to new opportunities without even a thought, extend it, go right into Threads. It's been interesting, and of course, I kind of salivate at the opportunity because at the onslaught of new applications, the feed for getting new users and finding new audience members, it's less intrusive, less restrictive. There's a lot more freedom at the beginning of an app. So TikTok was the same way, Facebook was the same way back at the beginning of their creation. So I want to seize that opportunity. Thread wants to keep my engagement and entice me to become a full, thriving Thread member. The way to do that is to give me the endorphins of likes and new followers. So I'm jumping at the opportunity. Little did I know that the Trojan horse also snuck in one of the biggest mining data mining apps on your phone right now. Let's compare the data collection directly between Twitter and Thread. If you take a look at the graph on the screen here, what do we see at first? User content. So the photos and videos on your phone, they both take access to gameplay content, audio data, other user content. Okay, that's not too intrusive. They need access to your phones and videos because that's the stuff you're going to post anyway. Audio data gets weird because in the fine print, that's where they start getting access to your personal voice recordings that you have saved to your phone. And where does that line end? Are you having access to my voicemails? So Twitter does not have your physical address. Threads does. They both take your email. They both take your name. They both take your phone number. In regards to other user contact info, other info that can be used to contact users outside the app. Twitter does not take this, Threads does. Now, if we look at everything from contacts, search history, browsing history, identifiers like user ID and device ID, usage data like product interaction and advertising data, they both take that. Other usage of data, other data about user activity in the app, Twitter does not take, Threads does. Purchase history, they both take. Financial info, as in payment cards, bank account information, credit scores, and income, both take. Health and fitness, Health, medical, fitness, exercise data. Twitter does not take, Threads does. Sensitive information like biometrics, sex orientation, ethnic data. Twitter does not take, Threads does. In regards to the rest, as in your location and diagnostics, like, things to monitor you and your app to make sure it goes well, they both take that. So the things that are pertinent that Twitter doesn't take, that Threads does, is your physical address, other contact information outside of the app, your other data, user activity outside of the app, all your health and fitness. So again, you're wearing an Apple Watch. That's saying your heart rate, your BMI, everything about your daily activities. Do you move? Are you a sludge on a couch? And then what do they need your sexual orientation and ethnic data for? And it's all to sell you advertising. I'd love for you to rewind the clock to another So Here's Where I'm At, where I talked about how the TikTok ban is just a load of BS. TikTok was winning the fight. In a free marketplace of apps, it's not everybody's favorite. We know it's the most intrusive, and we know that we're giving huge data, liquid gold, digital gold, to a competitor, an enemy, and we're still doing it because the app is freer and more engaging and enjoyable than any of the apps that we're forced to be stuck with, like Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. As a result, they couldn't just beat TikTok in a free market. No. We need to squash it. So we paint it out to be this big, bad Chinese company and that they're stealing all of your data. But ironically, if you actually go through the data information as we did, it is nowhere near as intrusive as Twitter. It is essentially the same as Twitter. So Threads is still more intrusive than what TikTok even is. So what are we learning here then, folks? Obviously, we need to stop allowing the entities that are financially backed by the social medias that are losing in the free market. We should probably stop allowing those entities to frame our perspective on the competitors in this marketplace. Again, I'm not sitting here saying TikTok's our savior, but I just find it ironic that we made it the scapegoat and claimed it to be this big, bad, intrusive application that turned out to be less intrusive than now the furthest extension of Meta. And I totally dislike the fact that I have to include this in the segment, but I don't think I can have the conversation without at least presenting the inquiry. But is there a chance that this is just some charade, some song and dance to make that UFC fight at the Roman Coliseum in Italy that much more juicy for you tabloid lemmings? I mean, I have a friend of mine that is involved with training in the UFC, and he totally thinks that fight's a sham, and I was laughing with him ironically today before I got involved in the whole Thread situation that, I was actually very excited for the fight. I know it's probably, a show, but we know Elon Musk has been rolling really hard in jiu-jitsu, and they're both billionaires and have the time and money to get highly trained in this art. It would be very entertaining. I would love to see a spectacle period, whatever it is, in the Roman Coliseum. I think that'd be sweet. But then my friend also raises some really great points that, is this our degradation? That we're going back, this is kind of our emulation of a time when we were barbaric, uncivil, and we're seeing that degradation again. I mean, I still don't know what to make of it, but I got to imagine if this was a real fight, it's got to make the tensions that much higher. But also, that could just show that this is all WWE and the world is their stage. So in the end, where do I come out in all of this? I'm excited for a new possibility of a social media app that can present a new audience and new opportunities. However, I don't know what to make of the app at such a juvenile stage. It seems very much like Twitter, essentially the same thing. The advantage right now for content creators is that at this juvenile stage, you're going to have a less fettered algorithm that will allow you to expand to newer audiences. That's going to be the carrot that they keep you coming back. Play their game. Maybe try to exploit it. At the same time, though, everything about the app does not seem like it's going to be that great of an app. It's putting people in echo chambers. The feed itself is not a way. There's no way for you to isolate from suggested people that actually have nothing to do with the feed of your Instagram. There's been a lot of discourse about how people's news feeds are full of people they totally dislike, and how are these people overriding their news feed like this when on other Facebook or Meta social media apps, their data should know this is someone I don't like. These are bugs. They're obviously going to work out. But again, at such an early stage, it doesn't seem to be gaining the traction. Is the stars, the rating on the app stores because it's that poor of an app, or because people have a vendetta against Meta? At the end of the day, though, the position that I hold in highest regard overall is that we need a free market with as many competitors as possible. So I hope Snapchat comes out with a thread and TikTok comes out with a thread. I think all of these companies should come out with their own version of all of them. I want a TikTok Snapchat. So to me, the highest valued contention that comes out of this conversation is I don't care where the lawyers come out on this. I hope that both heads of both companies, whether it's just lip service or not, truly mean that they want a competitive space where they're not cheating and undercutting each other, but that we, the people, the market dictates what rises to the top, the cream of the crop. And the only way to ensure that is for you, the audience member, to stand for something. You vote with your views, you vote with your dollars. You got to be out there, not afraid to rethink, stand up for something, or stand up for nothing. We need to remind the powers that be who really controls the wake in the water. Us. So here's where I'm at.